call it, with Friday and our friends at the second harvest of the Big Bend as we went ahead and had a great time golfing over there at Capital City Country Club, and they did a great job of hosting it. And I mentioned it last week, but I'll mention it again. Tom did a really good job with all the logistics leading up to it. He always does. And then, of course, their workers as well, when on the day of, were fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Made everything run so smoothly. And then I think the people who had teams and participated in the event, first of all, thank you very much. I think they all had a good time. It seemed to me everybody I ran into and had an opportunity to speak with enjoyed themselves, and we all did that with this awesome opportunity to just to shine a light on an area of need and have folks do what they do, which is be good and give and try to better our community. And that worked out. We did that, and we raised a lot of money for the second harvest of the Big Bend, and hopefully we'll continue to grow this event as we have upon its return. And really, I want to thank Warchant, too, all my friends and coworkers here at Warchant, because I think being able to bring this back, and we did it for so many years at one of my previous stops, and then it had to go away just because we couldn't get it done logistically. But since I've come over to Warchant, we've been able to rekindle this now, and I'm so glad that we have, because it is something that kind of fuels the soul, right? Makes you feel really good about people again. And so that was a good time, and I want to thank everybody there. And obviously we mentioned them a lot. I'll continue to shine a light in their direction as well, but the sponsors of that event are greatly appreciated. And you know who you are. That was awesome. And players came out, the Battle's in, providing some players for us, and that was neat, as folks got to have some fun with that. But then obviously we led into the big evening, which was the event at Corner Pocket, where folks were able to come on by and get food and drink and have a good time. And then we did a little show together, a little Seminole headlines get together. Corey asked Stephanie to marry him. Of course, she said yes. That was a cool moment as well. Everybody out on the deck watching that. And then Saturday was the game. And so, Saturday pregame show at Hotel Indigo always goes well. I enjoyed that with Tom and all of you who stopped by and said hello. Really isn't a better setting in the build up to a game, as you get the opportunity to overlook the intramural fields as people begin to file in the stadium in the background, which is the facade of Doe Campbell Stadium is timeless. It's beautiful. And when I think back to when I was a little kid going to games and what that was to what it is now, you really are reminded of the progress over the years and the house that Bobby built, if you will, and that stadium is impressive. So the game, I don't big picture here, Tom, and I have my notes. I brought all my notes in terms of talking about the game itself and the players that stood out and the good, the bad, and everything that was there. I most of it was good, obviously. The spring game is really more of an opportunity, I think, to get together with your friends, with your family, with your fellow Noles, with folks that love the game and go enjoy it. The game itself is never all that riveting. It's a spring game. It's a scrimmage. It's situational. And, no matter what they kind of do to try to spruce it up, it's difficult. I heard that from a lot of people. And that's why I tell people I don't go to that thing expecting fireworks and a great game. I mean, the last time that happened was long ago in terms of it being a game format. And I was there when Dan Kendra blew his knee. And I remember thinking, this will never happen again. And it shouldn't. You really can't afford to get guys hurt if you can help it before you actually play real football games in the fall. So it can be a little monotonous. Some people don't understand that, they're just doing situational stuff inside the 15 here. This is different over here. So I get all of that. But you can still glean an awful lot of what you want from that, at least from those who played. And, I think you would start with the fact that it was a great day for Kentron Portier. I mean, I think he's the guy that I would cite as having the best day as far as his future and his role within that segment group. We've been asking all camp, who's the number two? Who's the guy that you're going to be able to fall back on and trust to make plays if it's not Johnny Wilson? With Micah Pittman being out, kind of wanted to see that and Malik McClain transferring, who was going to be the guy? And Kentron played great. 3 really nice plays with an opportunity at another one. So I felt like he emerged specifically, and it was a great day for him. You see the depth of this team when you're in a setting like this, because a guy like CJ Campbell stands out in a game like this where he gets a ton of work, and he's not Rodney Hill. He's not Lawrence Toafili. He's not Trey Benson, but he's not bad. He's not a bad player. And you see how far down you go on this depth chart when you realize, like, that guy's probably the 4th running back. Maybe in certain situations, like, because Isaiah Holmes is healthy, he might be the 5th running back. And yet, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, and he gets to have a good day as well. I thought, too, that late in the spring game that it was fun to watch Brock hook up. First the Morlock pass down the seam. That was a beautiful pass on time.
A good throw.
Yeah, it's a really good throw. And then later on, he hits Jacobs, and then he hits Hakeem. And you're like, there's the future. You're seeing this, right? Brock is hitting those guys. You get the touchdown to Hakeem. But you get the pass to Jacobs as well. And so, those are good moments where you kind of go, all right, that makes me feel good. I thought Toafili's speed on the touchdown run was a wonderful summary of what Florida State can be. And what I mean by that is you have Toafili's speed on the touchdown run in the second half. It's Julian Armella who leads the way and seals. And then you get a downfield block by Kentron Portier. So you got 3 things there that get you excited, right? You have that speed, that he's probably the lone guy who has the kind of breakaway elusiveness and speed. Toafili's special in that way in the running back room. He's faster than all the other guys. So when he gets an opportunity, he can go. That space is created, though, because of a really good block on the right side by Julian Armella. And then, of course, all of this, the touchdown long runs are usually the byproduct of not just a hole that's being created at the line of scrimmage, but because of downfield blocking by receivers. And Portier had already had a really good day at that point, and really, I thought sealed the deal there. You see the depth of the offensive line, so many different guys playing in so many different roles. I thought ho-hum, Jordan Travis, had the nice touchdown pass to Portier in the left corner was really nice. That's a nice touch over this left shoulder.
It was a seed. He's throwing the ball with more velocity this camp. I was glad he broke it out on Saturday for everybody else to see, because that was one example of it. He started out shaky and making some poor decisions, but he bounced back, and by the end of it, he was on a run of, I think, 8 out of 9 passes, maybe 8 out of 10.
Well, I think it's just that we grow to expect him never to make mistakes because he's been so consistent. Yeah, I thought so too.
That option pitch was a lateral or backwards. It's a late.
I don't like that option play, by the way. We run it a lot.
It was more useful 2 years ago when Jordan was a one-trick pony.
Correct.
Now you don't need it. I get it. It's the spring game. I don't know that he'd make that decision against LSU, but let's put that in our pocket. We don't need that anymore unless we're facing, like, I don't know, Georgia in the national title game, and you want to take advantage of the fact that maybe they're overzealous. And then the pick, I thought, was just an excellent play by Kalen DeLoach, who also had a good game, a very good game on Saturday. That's somebody who in the stadium a couple weeks ago when we saw on Thursday the Bobby Bowden Field practice, Kalen was one of the better players on both sides of the ball that day. They go back in the stadium this weekend. He's one of the best players on the field. He wasn't credited with the strip on that fumble, I don't think.
But he wasn't. He stripped it and recovered it.
I thought he did. And that was most certainly going to be a scoop and score. The interception would have been, I don't know. Jordan's quick enough to get to him. We would have seen what happened. But it's most certainly a scoop and score that was not put on the board for the defense.
Yeah, and the pick is a terrible throw, and it's late. He diagnoses it. And
it's undercut. EJ did a good job of breaking that down on the ACC Network Extra. That is cerebral in nature.
Oh, yeah, it's not even his area. He's just like, well, but that'll happen when you're staring down a receiver. So I think it was kind of like, okay, well, hey, at least he made a play. Kalen had a good day. I thought Kalen had a really good day, and it's good to point that out. And I, you know what else? We've said it all camp, and it was cool to see a play be made. Again, not a great throw, but it's still nice to see Quindarius Jones with the interception. And
that's another one.
I like that kid.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I like that kid. So, yeah, there was enough there to get you excited. Again, you get out of this thing without any major injuries, we think. You knock on wood with that. That's really, at the end of the day, all I really care about. Now, being in a position like we are in the media to see every one of these practices leading up to this, not a lot new happens for you in a spring game when you've seen all the ones leading up to the spring game. So it is a little bit different, the lens for which you're viewing it. But that's why I say when I go into these things, if you've seen all that stuff, you just want to get out of it without anybody getting hurt. And that happened. And that's a big deal too.
Yeah, the thing I'd say, and this is a compliment to the football team, is they didn't do anything out of character on Saturday relative to what we get to see in practice. So I'm glad that the public watching either on the stream service or being there in the stands, they got to see a representative afternoon of what practice has been like for us. I'd hope you've been around on Warchant TV, warchant.com, the podcast here, as we've broken down practices the last 6 weeks. Because if you have, a lot of the same names we were mentioning on a day-by-day basis, we're doing exactly as they did on Saturday, which is good. And that's a good thing to me because they were practicing well. If they were practicing poorly, then it would not be a good thing that the spring game performed the same. But I think practice has been competitive. You're seeing more plays made rather than plays blown by somebody who can't do something. It's because somebody can do something. Kentron's a great example of that. But that's what we got on Saturday was the trend bears out before everybody. And I don't know that there were maybe more than 2 or 3 guys that did something drastically different than we've seen each and every practice that we get to go to.
Yeah, bigger, stronger, faster across the board for the most part with this team. We'll have some questions going into fall camp. We're going to question the depth of the linebacker segment. And the quality of that depth, and we'll question safety still. I think we still need to see somebody emerge with a level of consistency. But I think for the most part, now you just hold your breath because it's portal season. And everybody will kind of take a step back and wonder who decides that the grass is greener somewhere else for them. And does Florida State choose, after having seen this camp, having gone through all of spring and now the spring game, do they decide, you know what? We didn't get this the way that we wanted it. We weren't able to find somebody emerge here. And then also, hey, look, let's look at those names. Already it started. If you go online, you can monitor the portal and you'll see some really big names out there. You're talking about defensive tackle from Georgia. Not that you need a defensive tackle, but point is you see some big names out there across the board.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember here as this 2-week, period plays out is the process is the kid puts their name in the portal first. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have a destination. Can we let the Derek McClendon example be a guiding light for us before we jump to conclusions? It's not to say that you're going to see a bunch of dudes enter their name in the portal and then go back to the schools that they, are thinking about leaving. It's just let the process play out 1 to 2 to 3, because this is all novel, even to coaching staffs and collectives and players. So one step at a time. If a kid enters their name into the portal in Tennessee or Georgia or wherever, name it Ohio State, a receiver, let's say, that doesn't mean that the kid's going. They may be holding out for more money at Ohio State. And so that process has to play out. And I think that's what's going to go on before our very eyes the next 2 weeks.
Well, and I believe that this has to be a question that is answered across the board for all of these teams. And that is, as a coaching staff, what do you decide to do with a player who does that? This is new to them too. You want to use the portal for leverage against us, and then I'm supposed to act like it's okay that if you didn't get what you wanted somewhere else, you can just come on back. That's tough. That's a tough thing to kind of answer, because I think you'd want to nip that in the bud real quick. If you were able to diagnose that that's exactly what that was, you're not going to be held hostage by people now. That's a problem.
That's the decision a lot of different programs that are in our circumstance and even more healthy circumstances, they're going to have to choose. All right, we're going to renegotiate with this guy and we'll up his money because he did well in spring, or because there was an injury in front of him on the depth chart, so we're more desperate. Like, the math is going to be different for every single player. All I'm saying is, just because you see a player's name in the portal doesn't mean they're leaving. They might be trying to do the holdout thing. And that sucks. And I'm sure that makes a lot of old timers queasy, but that's where we are right now.
But I just think also, though, it forces the hand of a program. We'd be naive to suggest that coaching staffs and collectives, however you want to describe them, aren't working together in some way. The collective has to get an answer as to what do we do here with a player who may be threatening because they've asked for more money, and the budget's the budget. Every school does it differently. Every collective does it differently. But if you've decided that this player is valued at such and such, Well, I mean, the first time that kid decides, well, I'm hearing rumors that I can get 150,000 more over here. Do you come off the wallet, or do you say, well, best of luck to you?
You don't want to be, it's a thin line though to walk.
It
You
really
don't
is.
want to be Miami and reset your own market every year,
You can't.
especially when you can't afford it on the front
Well,
end.
and they're a mess now. They're a laughing stock of college football, as is usually the case.
It's been that way since I was unable to drive a car. Yeah.
What's also funny is all of the moments for Miami in which there's this temporary glimpse of a better future, or at least they view it to be. And then everybody else, having watched this movie play out before, says, well, just wait. You'll see. You're not going to like the ending. This isn't going to go the way you think it is. And then time goes by and there's evidence that the script is falling apart, that this character development is not going in the intended direction, and the denial from the willing audience who wants to see this thing end in a different way, while everybody else who's doesn't have a vested interest in their story goes, nope, they blew it. They blew the ending. And then we watch it happen and you're like, well, now what? You're not back after all. Not even close.
Yeah, I think the month of October, November has been good to them once in the last 20 years. That's when they had that 10-0 run, and that was cute. Other than that, you could tell what months of the year they're not going to be relevant. And typically those coincide, if you do the little Venn diagram, with football season, when the games are played. That's usually when they're totally and completely irrelevant.
On that note, it's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
At Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
Car accident? Call Facing Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
Hi, this is Jamie McClenny from Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement. Trillions of dollars in stimulus from the Federal Reserve and D.C. politicians, combined with zero interest rates, have propped up financial markets since the financial crisis ended in 2009. The Fed recently ended quantitative easing and has started to raise interest rates at a time when the global economy was already slowing. Have you considered what another 50% correction in the stock market would do to your retirement plan? If you're concerned about where this all might be headed and would like to find out about the potential benefits of an active risk management strategy for your portfolio, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a review of your portfolio from an active risk management perspective.
Make Jamie your first call for a second opinion. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
The spring transfer portal and how we'll now all be monitoring who's going where and how many different names, and do any of them cause you to raise an eyebrow? And all spring I've talked about a lack of depth and a lack of dynamic linebacker play. Now, again, I think you're fine with your 2 starters, but I think you could use some more depth, and I think you could use some more talent in that group. And Jaheim Thomas is the kid at Cincinnati. I saw somebody mention in the chat, and it was the first thing I read this morning too, was that he's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. I don't know that he'll be around for all 2 years, but dude's 6'4", 245, and led the team in tackles last year with 93. He's good. He's available. It's just somebody that helps ensure that if for some reason you were to have somebody miss any time at the position, that maybe you'd be all right.
Hey, man, Omar Graham had a good Saturday, and that caps a string of 2.5 weeks of good practices that I've been to. 36 doing some things.
I like Omar Graham. I do. I might look at a linebacker. I don't know enough about the 24 games that the Auburn linebacker has played in his 3 seasons there, the Desmond Tisdall kid. He only played 6 games last year. I haven't seen enough of him to say we go after that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't look too much at tackle counts or things like that, because Tatum was 100 plus every year.
Right.
That doesn't guarantee you that you've got a player better than what you have here, even if the tackle count is high. Unless it was Luke Kuechly level 172 tackles.
Something insane.
In 8 games.
Seems to have pretty good instincts. I will point this out because it's Schadenfreude and it's fun to point this out. It's also just in terms of the landscape of college football, you don't have to, you ask yourself over and over again, well, is it just because I'm rooting for this, so therefore I'm seeing more of it? Or is it because it's happened a lot, independent of my feelings towards it? Oh, and the answer to this, what I'm about to say, is it's because it's happened a lot. Matthew Wyckoff, who started 9 games last year for Texas A&M at center, is in the portal. He allowed all of 1 sack and 545 snaps.
Oh, my.
He's the 26th player from Texas A&M to enter the portal since December.
That's impressive for a lot of reasons. Number 1, the complexity of Jimbo's offense. Number 2, they don't get the ball out quickly. So if you've only given up 1 sack from the interior
and 545 snaps,
this ain't exactly the option that they're running out there.
26th player from A&M to enter the portal since December. Things are going swimmingly at Texas A&M.
Wait, did you say 26?
26.
Oh, my God.
26. And if you go back to that press conference at the start of spring.
Is that the big league roster for Major League Baseball?
When he alluded to, hey, these things happen. Some guys get there, they come in, and they just, it's not for them. No, man, 26 times. He was an all-SEC honor as a freshman in 2022. He's 6'6", 330, played in 12 games, started 9 right off the bat. gave up 1 sack, has 3 years of eligibility left.
Whoa.
All signs point to goodness. Yeah, whoa is right. That's who you call.
Oh, that dude's getting paid. That's a lot of money coming to that young man because it's not a 1-year rental. You will get him as a transfer. So short of him graduating,
he can't really go anywhere.
He's stuck with you, and you want to be stuck with that guy.
So, let's keep an eye out. I'm just saying there may be a guy there that you are interested in.
That's funny. You start the segment, you're talking about linebackers. You go, oh, my God, with the linebackers. I mean, can't we appreciate the good spring game? And then you rattle off these numbers and go, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right.
Or maybe that's the guy. Maybe that's the guy.
Just take a look at the catalog every day.
Yeah. Well, it is fun. This is the aspect. If you don't get embittered, and there's a reason to be jaded, but if you don't get that way, and rather you kind of look at this as more fodder and more intrigue on a daily basis, I'm always kind of like, well, let's get up and read the trades. Let's find out what we got. I need a guy here. I need a guy here on the docks. I need a guy over here. We got a guy. Oh, this guy's got a lot of experience. Where has he worked? And you go through and you look at, oh, the Spencer family, huh? Those guys do good work. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty. Maybe we'll look at him on the docks. Like all of a sudden, you're looking at guys' potential. And I crack up when I did that this morning. Cup of Joe, me, transfer portal. I'm just like, who's there?
I just want to know if the dog likes him. If the dog at Texas A&M believes in this young man, then that's okay. Then we got us one.
Revelry?
Yeah. Revelry.
Yeah. I want to look at that center, and I want to look at the Cincinnati linebacker. Just take a glance. Take a look at what we got there. Might be a little something to look into. Those two guys.
I can't help but notice the hat you're wearing today is red and black. So I'm wondering, did you get that at NC State this weekend, and did you try to talk that linebacker into entering the portal?
Oh, God. I'd wear his jersey on the air if we could.
Yes, you would. Cut off sleeves.
That kid is a beast. No, I didn't get that at NC State this week, and I've had this for a couple of months. It fell behind the couch, and apparently over the weekend when my wife was cleaning, she's like, did you know your red and black cap was up behind the cap? No, I didn't. Glad you found it. But they got, was there, to me, sitting around watching that game, again, nothing stood out that was new. There wasn't, had a lot of guys out. And it was just a typical spring game. There were moments where you thought, okay, well, I like that. That's further confirmation that this player's coming along nicely or that they're really all set here. I will say that I think more than anything, the day-to-day practice and this game itself and the talking points around this football team, I think are accurate. And that is that they're a lot deeper than they have been in a long time. And maybe the deepest they've ever been since, and I've been covering almost 25 years. That's crazy. If you take the offensive and defensive line and combine the number of players that would give you quality reps that are not only going to be asked to play, but if they had to play. So some of the guys further down on the depth chart, if you asked this guy to play, the number of players that you could say, I feel good if this is the case, has maybe never been greater. Because you go 5 deep on the interior of the defensive line easily. And you've got 13 on the offensive line. And then, I guess you would say we probably need another defensive end, maybe. But I don't remember a time where I could sit around and recite nearly 20 players that if they had to play in that moment, you'd be worried about. I mean, not worried about that. You'd say, yeah, no, they're good enough. They're really good. I mean, I'm not telling you that they have 13 A-plus quality starters on the offensive line. I'm telling you that they have, yes, at least 8 Panama Jack, at least 8 on the offensive line that I feel very good about. I might stretch that number further. That if you had to play a guy that's not going to be a starter this year, a guy that I project I think will be a backup, they've got several guards that if they played, I'd be like, we're going to be all right. We're going to be okay. Nothing terrible is going to happen today with him at guard.
No, I agree. There's you could even go down the roster if we wanted to as an exercise, and you'd get probably to 10 yeses. I think you would get to 10. I think 8 or 9 is probably that sweet spot about week in, week out. You can trust this guy, but in a pinch, the number could get to maybe 12. Like in a pinch, oh man, a guy went down for a series or 2.
Yeah, can we play so-and-so here? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You absolutely could.
Estes, Armella, those are big guys. Absolutely.
Oh, well, certainly that would be. I mean, Armella could still end up starting. Could end up starting. I mean, I'm not projecting him to start right now, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't be stunned if in the fall he comes back even stronger. He's a hard worker. He's going to put in the time. And if that's the case, then, who knows? Maybe our guy said it himself. Alex Atkins said he's stunned all the time, that he doesn't count people out.
Yeah.
That he'll sit back and say, okay, he's not ready yet. And then all of a sudden, boom, guy takes a massive leap, has a eureka moment, gets over, is able to get past whatever the barrier is that has been, keeping him down. I think that's probably true for a couple guys, and Armella is one of them.
I wonder if he's going to be a badass guard at the next level. He's just so athletic. And if you want to, move him around as they like to do in this offensive scheme, would you get more out of his athleticism to be in the interior than to play tackle? I don't know. The good thing is it's not a roster and a segment group full of guards any longer.
No, you have tackles. You have real tackles.
9 guards and 2 of them just got to play tackle. You've got 3 or 4 tackle options right here, right now. And when Lucas Simmons gets strong enough up top, you'll have a starter. And that could be as soon as next year, that you have somebody who's a redshirt freshman is going to be a lockdown starter for you for a couple of years at tackle. It's just so many of the rooms on that roster have flipped. We got a commitment from BJ Gibson over the weekend. It happened just after the post-game show was over. It's a 4-star wide receiver. He's a 2-sport athlete, plays baseball as well. That is the 4th wide receiver commit in the 2024 class. And according to Michael, they could take as many as 5 or 6 because they project a lot of guys leaving, obviously for greener pastures, more money, the NFL from the 2023 roster. You could have 5 or 6 blue chip wide receivers in one class. Think about the discussion just 18 months ago about how we never signed those types of guys. And already on campus are Vandrevius Jacobs and Hakeem Williams, who both had their moments in Saturday's spring game. That's a room that it felt like it was never going to flip, along with offensive line, and they have in a big way.
By the way, Jacobs' catch on that on the sideline.
Yeah, late in the game.
Yeah. The catch itself is whatever. It's the stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
Where he keeps his balance and tight ropes after being thrown, and then kind of makes 2 people miss in the stop-start, and he gets an extra 20 yards by just being that guy. Somebody who can make you miss in a phone booth.
Right. Impressive? Absolutely. Stunning to you and me and anybody else who's been in practice?
Right. No.
It's not stunning at all.
So I like Jared's question about, do we have a roster loaded with good players, but maybe not as many elite players in terms of national title teams? I think that's kind of it's a fun question to answer. I'll do it next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
An adult male victim with gunshot wounds was transported by friends to the McDonald's parking lot on West Pensacola Street. When officers arrived at the location, they immediately began to render aid before an ambulance arrived and transported the victim to a hospital. The victim sustained serious but non-life-threatening injuries. A verbal altercation occurred between the victim and several other suspects before the shooting occurred in the 3500 block of Roberts Avenue. No arrests have been made and the investigation remains ongoing. Florida State University unveiled new football uniforms for the 2023 2023 season during its spring game. This is the first uniform update FSU has had since after the national championship season in 2013. The new uniforms from Nike feature shorter sleeves with detailed symbols that are symbolic gestures of the Seminole tribe. Numbers are lower on the back of the jersey, and the color is closer to FSU's classic garnet and gold. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MaclemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with a high of 74. Winds out of the northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 50 tonight, clear skies. Lots of sunshine outside again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 82. Dry with temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday, and highs in the mid-80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 71.
Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSU.
So, I mentioned it. There was a question in the chat that I liked, and I wanted to expound. It was kind of something I was going to get into to begin with, because I thought about this. I contemplated this to some degree while watching the spring game, the spring showcase.
Boy, they're really particular about that, aren't they?
Let me tell you. So, Tom, this is interesting. As somebody whose wife works in the school system and deals with parents all the time, there's good and bad at that. But I hear back via her a lot from listeners. Not people that I run into directly, but people who know she's married to me, and they come in there to pick up their kid or drop off their kid. They're like, hey, tell Jeff this, and that.
I'm sure that's her favorite thing to
I'm
hear.
sure she loves it.
Tell Jeff,
Yeah. ...
Or
Or they'll just give
get on it.
Or they'll just give their observations, and knowing that she's probably going to tell me, like, oh well, I had a lot of parents say this about a thing. It could be anything. It could be about something Florida State's doing, an initiative. It could be a fundraising event. It could be the game itself. It could be whatever. Something that everybody's excited about, like the LSU game. So there was a lot of feedback about the spring game. And I was telling her, she took the kids to that game because we were doing the pregame show. That she came by with the boys, and he had Bryce and Clark Bryce had his friends, and they were going and all this other stuff. And so they go as just a fan experience. They go, like you normally would. There's no press element to it. So I pick their brains a lot about, what'd you like, what didn't you like, what were some of the things. But I've tried to tell them going into the weekend, I'm like, now, by the way, that the spring game is not really a game. I mean, there's some game elements to it, but it's not really a game. Doesn't have the same vibe. You kind of got to be hardcore to like a spring game. You got to be looking for depth, considerations. You got to be watching closely at a true freshman who's not even going to play this year just because you want to see how they look in advance. This is the stuff of the 90s where I loved. We did this in actual games because we were so much better than everybody in the ACC. And most of the time, the game was out of control or out of hand midway through the second quarter. And so you got all these opportunities to see kids come in and play that you're not going to rely on to start for you for 2 years. But you'd watch so-and-so play, and you'd be like, oh, man, did you see? It was right after we went up 56-0. They brought in the freshman to play, right? Remember, it was the first half. I think it was late in the second quarter. We were up 37-3. And we ran that back-to-back series where we had, these are the conversations that everybody had in the 90s. And it was hilarious. Looking back on it now, we thought it was normal. Looking back on it now, it's an unbelievable luxury because you can get so many reps for guys. They're no-pressure reps, but they can feel what it was like, feel the juice to be under the lights, to have the moment, right? To have the fans locked in, to make a play with your adrenaline pumping. By the time they were really relied upon, they played a lot of football. They had played plenty of reps. They'd been out there. Well, that kind of stuff is a lot more fun to watch in a game setting than it is in a situational scrimmage. And so I tell everybody when they're going to the spring game, if you're not really been, don't expect to have the same kind of fun and don't expect it to be electrifying. It's really just kind of a, hey, this is kind of some guys we got and pretty cool. We're going to put them in situations. And I think FSU and Mike and them, they know it. That's why they emphasize showcase. It's not really a game at all.
Sure. Maybe they had a focus group that said showcase is the word. Let's go with showcase.
Well,
with it, Jerry.
Because if you say game and people walk in and see it's not a game, they're pissed. Yeah. They're bored and they're pissed.
So they started this year, not with 2-point plays, but from the 12-yard line. I was driving home and I was listening on the radio for the first series with Jordan, which apparently I got way more information than anybody that was watching on the stream because they cut to commercial in the middle of a play.
They missed it.
And they've got a zoomed in angle of Jordan Travis as he's handing off on a read option. And they're just talking about him like they're, resetting the intro. So, like, Jordan Travis is going to be a big time player for Florida State this year. Heisman campaign, as there's a play going on and they're zoomed in on him. I went back, I watched that. I chuckled. But I heard CJ Campbell's 12-yard touchdown run, for example, on the radio. So I knew what happened, and everybody on social media and on the boards and in the chat are just decrying what was a horrible, horrible start to the broadcast. But from there, they just showed the football. And I thought they did a much better job with the format this year. Florida State did, that is.
Yeah.
Which is, it's just series after series after series. And then when they had some momentum going at the end of the quote-unquote first quarter, they said, the hell with the clock. Let's just keep going for untimed downs. There was a lot of 11-on-11 football, so kudos to them. But it's also something, to your point, that you can do when you have a deep and talented roster.
Absolutely. That is without question. And you think about, what was the number? 207 combined starts for the offensive linemen that they have on this roster. And it shows because you have all kinds of depth there. And there is a ton of talent and experience at quarterback, offensive line, running back, wide receiver. You can go on and on and on with this group. So going back to the question that was, which is, in comparison, well, I should say that's a follow-up that he wrote. The question was, do we have a roster loaded with good players, but maybe not as many elite players in terms of the national title team? I think that's true. I think that's probably true. How many players on this team would you look at and say they are elite players, national championship caliber players? You'd say that about Jordan Travis. He's a Heisman candidate going into the season.
Yeah.
Remember, when we do this, when we go through this exercise, it is not to suggest what they are at the pro level. It's what they are in collegiate football.
Yep.
Jordan Travis in collegiate football is an elite quarterback.
Yes, correct.
with expectations of playing on an elite level. All right. Jared Verse is going to be a projected, and again, this doesn't have to do with their NFL careers, but it's nice as an indicator. What is he thought of in terms of a difference-making ability off the edge in college football? Well, he's thought of as a guy that might get drafted in the first round. That was last year. They said that about him. Well, he comes into this year bigger and stronger, and I think probably even hungrier to make the kind of impact he could have made last year had he not been hurt. So he's healthy now. He's always been invested. He's a hard worker. Stands to reason that he's going to be an elite player, certainly in this conference, but I think he'd be an elite player in college football this year.
That's 2.
Okay, so that's 2 that we're sure of. The second half of last season suggests that Trey Benson can be an elite running back. Could be. He certainly looked it at the end of last year. Now, he's weird because he has games where all of a sudden he's not the difference maker you think he should be.
Like the bowl game.
And then there are games where he can't be tackled. He's too big, too strong, too fast. But if he can find that consistency that he was lacking last year, and one certainly can suggest that he should because he believes in his knee now. He believes he's healthy, so he can trust it. He can, plan it and go and run over people as well as run around them. All right, so he might be 3. Is there anybody else? So you would probably say Johnny Wilson. I'm not sure I would.
Yep.
I think he's a really good college receiver who has a chance to take a big step, another big step.
Zero hesitation on my part.
Okay.
He is, when you're talking about college football, this is not like a Hall of Fame argument.
Of course.
In the pros where it's, the answer is yes immediately. This is, are you capable of putting on a Georgia jersey, an Ohio State jersey, an Alabama jersey, and being a starter and being a difference maker? The answer is yes for Johnny, 100%.
I think it's close. The way that Bama's churned out receivers lately, I'm not so sure.
It's a unique skill set, though. Like, even Bama, the mighty Bama, who is a factory.
Yeah.
Since Julio Jones changed it all, and they've had like 84 cents.
Right.
This is a different body type with a unique skill set that is a nightmare to match up against.
Yeah, the 6'7" part of that is true. Yeah. Okay. Maybe specific to college football, I'll give you that he can be considered elite. I need him to consistently catch the easy ones, though, for that to be the case.
Even without him, he goes for 2 bills.
But not every game. And there are games where, those are the catches you're going to get. I need you to make them. So we'll see. I hope so. I think certainly it's fair to say potentially he is.
Yeah.
Jaheim Bell, you want to put him in there? You think he's going to be an elite tight end this year?
It's a projection. You can't do it based upon past performance because we're not going to use it the way South Carolina did. But it's possible.
Yeah, he's unique. He's unique. Speaking of unique, he's got the size and speed, and he's kind of, in a weird way, positionless on the offense. Like, you put him at tight end, put him at H-back, put him in the backfield. If you wanted just as a tailback, you could.
And you put that combined with Jordan and Trey and Johnny on the field at the same time. The choices you have to make as a coordinator.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. That's it on offense. I don't think we think that anybody going into this season, even if you wanted to say that one of the offensive linemen would take another step forward, are any of those guys elite offensive linemen? I don't think so.
Probably not yet.
Not yet. You're going to, Lucas Simmons will grow into an elite.
Byers could be.
Yeah.
But it's UTEP. It's too early.
Yeah. So, no, I think we're done there.
Yeah. D tackle, you could have an argument for 2 or 3 more guys.
D tackle, you can with Darrell Jackson. You need Fabian to have the year we thought he was going to have last year prior to the injury. He's got to be hungry, and I think he will be. Obviously, it's a money year. So, yeah, he could be. I already mentioned Jared Verse.
Farmer could be in that conversation as well. Like, for me, elite would be, for that particular position group, would you be in that 4-man rotation at a Georgia or an Alabama or an Ohio State or a Clemson? And I think we've got 3 or 4 guys that would be in a 4-man rotation at those universities, with Braden Fisk being an incomplete grade.
We'll wait and see, yeah.
Yeah.
But given what he was as a recruit coming out of high school and where he went, you wouldn't necessarily assume that he's going to be an elite player. Could be a really good player for you.
Yeah.
Could end up being a really good player for you. But I think we're done. That's it. That's the end of that.
Yeah.
There is no other player that you're going to say that about right now. Now, again, a lot of people would say, well, in due time, I think so-and-so. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right in due time. But going into this next season, I think we would probably cap it at 6, 5, maybe.
I think if you stretch it really thin, you could get to maybe 8 because the defensive interior, you could rack up 3 guys right there real fast. But, yeah, I think surefire things, 4 to 6. But guys emerge every year at all these power programs. So, the conversation changes within a few weeks.
Yeah, but we're projecting based on what we saw all throughout camp and what we expect their role to be either in the offense or the defense. And so it's a little bit more, without it being, kind of arrogant, it's a little bit more informed, though. We see these guys every day.
Sure. Yeah. Van Dravis could be one of those guys, too.
Yeah, not
Soon.
year 1, but soon. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
I'm Andy Cohen with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me at 850-671-FARM.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. Please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. They have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters.
CordellCordell.com. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. 904-323-0000. 1 Independent Drive, Suite 2200, Jacksonville, Florida 32202.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Tampa Bay Rays have tied the Major League modern record with a 13-0 start to the season. They share the record now with the 82 Braves and the 87 Milwaukee Brewers. Drew Rasmussen on the mound today for the 13-0 Rays, another 35 fair, but Jose Barrios send the Blue Jays plus 125. 9.5 under the total at Rogers Center. Atlanta Braves, another 35 road favorite at the Kansas City Royals, 8.5 over the total. Florida Gator baseball today, a $1.90 home favorite against the Georgia Bulldogs. Florida State, a plus 135 underdog at North Carolina State. Wolfpack, the $1.65 favorite. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Scott for Scott's here. You hear that? Bring the mic in close. That's not how the grass should sound. There's weeds everywhere in this lawn. It's time to take action with Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action. It gets 3 jobs done at once. Kills weeds, prevents crabgrass, and feeds your lawn so it keeps growing strong. Ah, much better.
Get a bag of Scott's Triple Action today. It's guaranteed, or your money back.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, no matter how many times I've washed it.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried new Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors. It helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products. Save on Downy Rinse and Refresh at Target.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the 3rd one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinking. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay, mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Season and see what happens, namely with our own roster, but perhaps maybe just a couple of guys. They may dip in there, get you a couple of guys. You never know. Maybe not. I'm not over here waving the flag. But I'm trying to win a national championship, Tom. So, we're trying to win some games around here.
That sounded a little John Travolta-ish.
I didn't mean it to.
Tip into the portal, couple of guys.
Couple of guys.
Take a chance.
Couple of guys. Nothing wrong with that. Couple of guys, come on in. You'll fit nicely right here, and then we'll win these games. I like winning games. I want to win all of them over and over again to the point where it's boring. People go, I'm sick of this. They're sick of Georgia right now. I'm talking about the rest of the country.
Okay, I was going to say.
The rest of the country being sick of it. Look at these sons of bitches are still out here winning. Tired of it. Somebody break it up. They're cheating. That's what I want. I want that kind of vitriol headed our way. I want to hear people just making random, unsubstantiated accusations of mass cheating and fraud. That's what I want. I want to get on a plane, have somebody see my Florida State shirt. They're like, Florida State guy, huh? Yes, reigning national champions indeed, sir.
That Mike Norvell, he's so smug.
All that cheating y'all doing. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Trying to win some games. Everybody's out here cheating. We're just better at it. Suck it. Enjoy your flight. That would be good. That'd be an awesome interaction to have.
Now, that would be a flight attendant I'd write a good review for. Sit down.
Get you some of that. Get you a little something. I went that entire hour without bringing up the biggest news of the weekend. I can't believe that I did this, that I made you wait all this time. So here we are. And I got word. Do you realize that I knew about this? That you didn't know, and that nobody really, not that many people knew, but I knew. And I didn't share it.
What is this, a stump speech?
No. I held on to it because I thought I want Tom to be excited. I don't want to ruin it for him.
I had heard a couple months ago that for the 10th anniversary that they were going to do a rollout. This wasn't exactly that, though. So that was a quasi land on a rumor.
Yeah.
But I had forgotten about it. And then
it happened.
We're responsible for the post-game show here on the Royal We on Warchant TV. I'm like, oh my God, the A block, it's blown to bits.
Yeah.
We got to get the uniforms. We got to move them up the ladder, Gene.
Well, so one of the great things about, I don't know what it is about us men, but we really care deeply about our sports teams' uniforms. And if you're a traditionalist, you really care. And, you want things to be right as they were all those years ago, if in fact they were. If they were bad all those years ago, then you've cared deeply as well because you've wanted them to change. Like if you're a Jags fan and you look out there and see your team every week, you think, God, these uniforms are butt sorry. This is an embarrassment to football everywhere. Can't we do something with these uniforms? And maybe, just maybe, they did when they played Kansas City. That black and white was a good look for the Jags. Yeah, and they need to stick with that because all that other stuff is nonsense that they run out there.
Well, they had the two-tone helmet that they abandoned a couple years
Thank
back.
God, that was hideous.
The Trevor Lawrence, redo to the uniforms, they're simple.
They're black and white. They look good.
And you got that teal with the white numbers without, it's not a 3D patch
no,
or anything
it's not
stupid.
Over the top nonsense. Yeah. You're right.
It's stripped down. It's basic.
They need to stick with that. That's the first time they've ever gotten it right. They've never had a good uniform in their life. All of a sudden, they got that one. That's a good look. You stick with that, you bums. Now, so it's like when we had the digital clocks.
Yeah.
For the Bucks, they ruined this. I mean, what in the hell were they doing? We had these good units. They screwed it up. And then, after all that, we're like, just go back to the creamsicles already. It's become cool. Can just go back to
If you want proof that meth use is rampant in Tampa.
And it is.
Somebody sat in a meeting with Nike and approved those uniforms. In fact, I'm sure a majority of people that were sitting at a conference room table, there had to have been meth in the room at the time. Had to have been.
Okay, so let's go back to this, all right? I knew that we were going to, that this reveal was going to happen, and I thought, all right, all I care about, because I know that Tom is going to be looking at these uniforms like it's the Zapruder film.
I have a presentation for you after you're done.
He is going to be looking at these things. I mean, it's not enough that they've gone back to largely the traditional uniforms that we have always loved. I'm like, Tom's looking at that color. He wants to make sure that garnet is the garnet. It's going to be key to his acceptance of what's taking place here.
You're correct.
Now, I didn't ask you this after the game, and I was sidetracked after the game. So I don't know what your opinion was in the post game as to your thoughts on this. But my guess, and again, I legitimately don't know.
This is true. Yeah.
So my guess is that for the most part, maybe that's the way to say it, you're really good with these uniforms.
Okay.
Is that a fair assessment?
It's complicated because my initial
I
reaction.
think you overcomplicate these things, but go ahead.
Well, my initial reaction was that they were an A. They were just shy of an A+.
They are outstanding
because the away collar.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
With the garnet is a little bold.
Oh, I like it.
You could.
You
just
talking
have
about the white jersey?
Yeah, with the
it's
the collar
gorgeous.
around the neck. It's a little too much.
No,
you
great.
strip it down like the practice uniforms, and you make it the white collar with the white uniform. I think it's better. But that's holding it back from an A to an A+. Now, here's the issue: the way they roll them out in their video and on Seminoles.com, that looks more like '90s red than current garnet, quote unquote. Wouldn't you agree? That looks much more reddish. The uniform does. Like the garnet.
So this
has
is
moved
the
from
biggest
the purple family to the red family.
Yeah, this is the biggest problem we have. Is that you really don't know.
Yes.
You never really know.
Yes.
Until we get under the lights and or they sweat. You've got to see them once they've been saturated with perspiration or it's under the lights.
Yep.
Those are the two tests that really tell you the truth. Because certain angles, certain lights, certain studios, you really can't know.
So to that end, the way that they looked at the FSU's, the Seminoles.com photo release, which we broke down, there's a video on it right now. I think they bumped up the red in post. I think they took those photos and they made them a little bit more red, which is easy to do with any, Photoshop or whatever program, just to enhance the colors, make them look more vibrant. But I have a tweet that I'd like to share.
Okay.
And Director Matthews putting it up on the screen.
Let's see this tweet here. Let's go.
This is Melina Myers, who does all the photography, all the time.
All right.
All right. So there's the new uniform on the screen for Warchant TV. If you're in the radio, it looks good, right? Looks very good. A little bit more robust red, kind of a callback to the 90s with the outline of the lettering and the numbers.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Now we pivot to 2014 Nick O'Leary. That looks to be the same color on the jersey. Entirely the exact same garnet, quote unquote, color from the original Ignition tradition to the ones that were rolled out because that's lighting consistent. That is Doak Campbell, dusk, or overcast.
The problem is also, though, this shot skews our ability to look at this and discern it properly because of all the stupid assery going on with that helmet and the numbers and all of the stupid stuff on the sleeve.
This is
like
clearly the Citadel game. Because they had not updated the helmets back to the normal goldish color.
That still angers me.
So that is that Citadel game where they were diving at our knees. But if you go back to the one that rolled out on Saturday, same building, same kind of lighting. I don't know that we fixed the garnet. I
think we did. I think we did. But that looks good. That's not.
It's a cleaner. No matter
it's
how you slice it, it's
cleaner.
a lot cleaner, which is a win.
And oh, by the way, pull up the white jersey with the garnet numbers. Pull that up. I think Melina has that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now, I prefer, and I'm not one of the guys that's going to tell you can never do the white helmet. But I have to admit, I prefer the gold helmet with these. And we do have a version where we do that with the gold pants. But that 55 looks tight. That looks good. With the gold outline on the numbers, I like it. I like it.
So what they
that
said
is regal.
What they said in the release, this looks great. I mean, the white uniform has always been just
it's breathtaking. It's regal.
Regal. But they did put in the release that there are garnet pants as well, which was not brought out onto the field.
Which I also like. Garnet pants with the white shirt, with the white jersey.
It would seem for now, unless they do a special rollout, as Nike does from time to time, that the garnet helmet is dead. So the only two helmets that are in rotation at present are
I think the garnet helmets should be gone.
Yeah.
We should never really wear a garnet helmet.
But what I am, initially I thought, oh my God, the garnet got more red. We've done it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I thought that's the moment.
I think
we're
pretty close.
I'm not
Tom.
sure now.
I don't know that perfection is in the cards. I think it's as close as you're going to get. That is a good look right there.
It is a humongous upgrade. Humongous.
Much better. They're not purple, Tom. They're not purple. We had to get away from purple. I believe we have. I believe we have.
I think quietly they also got off the 2014 purplish with the current look. Like if you, for example, you were in the building in New Orleans this year, those looked a lot better than previous trips to the Georgia Dome before they got the new building or an indoor setting like that. They looked a lot more garnet-ish than purple-ish.
Bottom line is the other thing that I don't think it should go overlooked is you got, okay, yes, we talked about them being cleaner. They're a lot cleaner. But, man, the numbers move is really good.
Yeah, to the sleeves.
To the sleeve.
Yeah.
Well, that's old school. That's what we used to have. I remember Peter Warwick. And, well, all of our guys. That's the look I want. I hate the top. No, the sleeve, baby. That's where it's at. Now, I know today's uniforms, the kids don't want to wear knee pads. I like the knee pads. I like the longer pant look down below the knee. But I'm an old fogey. I grew up with knee pads. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have them. Helmets to knees hurt like hell. But the modern player doesn't feel like he needs knee pads. I know that there are certain players in the NHL that forego certain other pads. Like
on the wrists, which is crazy.
Crazy, right? Crazy.
Yeah.
But they do. So, I mean, each to their own. Whatever you grew up playing, I understand it. You're probably biased.
They all like to do the James Wilder Jr. tuck, too, the high tuck, which makes it difficult.
Yes, but now one thing I will tell you about that is a throwback to the 80s.
Yeah.
If you go
he
back.
got that from his dad, I'm sure.
Yeah. And tearaway jerseys were also a thing back then, and those looked like ass. I mean, Brian Bosworth and those guys at Oklahoma, all of Miami's players. I mean, all the tearaway jerseys, like, what are we doing? Were you even wearing a shirt? Get together, everybody.
And Florida State, at my undergrad time, they pivoted from the mesh numbers to the actual patch numbers. I think we might have been the last team in Power 5 to actually make the move. Remember, they sold them in the bookstore all the time. It was like white paint marks in between the number mesh with the garnet numbers. And that's what they wore on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Christian Ponder, I believe, his first start didn't have the patch numbers. And then around 08, 09, we figured it out.
Yeah.
And we had it. We had it for about 4 full seasons where it was perfect. We're still searching for that, but we got a lot better on Saturday. Got a hell of a lot better.
It's exciting that that they made some changes. We all agree they're better off for those changes. We seek perfection. It's just like me being hypercritical of the roster. This is you with these jerseys. It's the same thing. It's like, hey, man, it is better, but we're going for perfection. That's what you say to me when it comes to the color.
Well, because we
I
had
do the
it.
same, yeah, and I do the same thing. Well, and we had it with the roster.
Yeah,
I do the same thing when we look at the roster. I go, well, now hold on. He's an adequate player. That's true, but there are better ones out there, and we can have them here. This guy's available. So that's all we're doing here. We're trying to get it perfect. I thought of you, though. I did. I meant to call you on Sunday morning, but I figured we've seen enough of each other. We're tired. I'll wait till Monday to bring it up. But I was kind of like, all right.
I think we had.
Well, no,
all of us, like the whole staff.
Everybody
like,
has seen enough of each other. You know,
I felt bad. I had to text you yesterday. I was like, man, here's a work question. I don't want to do that to him, but I did.
Yeah, but yeah. So that listen. At the end of the day, improvements have been made to the roster. Improvements have been made to Doe Campbell. Improvements have been made to the jerseys and the pants. We're good.
So, Spectator, real quick in the chat. This is one minor history lesson, and I agree. He says, South Carolina is garnet and black. Which one is closer to the real garnet? I love this question. I love it because the 2010 season.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
We played in the Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
I was there.
They are both garnet. They are distinctly different. And somehow, some way, from that game, we went from the garnet we were wearing on the field in Atlanta to South Carolina's color by the 2014 season. It's like Nike said, one of you is going to be the garnet, and that's what we're going to make for both institutions. And sadly, we went to the purple garnet, which is what South Carolina wears. We, in 2010, wore the true garnet. We're going to get back there. I don't care if we have to form a committee. We're going to do it.
I hope we have a combination where we can go white on white, garnet on white, white on garnet. I want all the combinations. Got to have it. And I like the white helmet for it every now and again. But the gold helmet,
And now that we've gotten here, here's the other thing. Winning means you're going to make more cool stuff. Some of it's going to whiff, but think about Tom Brady going to the Bucs. We switched the uniforms. How many different hats and shirts and sweatshirts did the Buccaneers have on the shops fanatics of the world?
Gazillions, yeah.
When we do what we're about to do this year, the shops, the Garnet and Golds of the world, you talk about stock and variety. It's going to get fun. And then, buddy, we can dare to dream that maybe the mustards.
Oh, bring them back.
For
Yes.
a throwback Saturday with the state logo. I think we can do it in the next 5 years. I think we can wear one like that.
Well, I want our Sunday baseball unis to go back to being the putrid mustard yellow.
Yes.
Let's go.
The whole world is doing it.
Speaking of which, son of a. It's getting impossible. You hit a home run in the 10th, and you promptly, God.
Oh, it was long past impossible.
I mean, it's one. I'd rather them go out there and get pasted like they did in game 1. Then you go out there, you've got game 2-1. You've got game 3-1. We have an affinity for the walk. We can't wait to walk somebody, especially with the game on the line. We want you to have this opportunity by all means.
Well, I don't get they bring the ink home.
Damn it. I know nobody watched it. I know nobody cares. I understand where we're at. It's a bad feeling, but I still care about this baseball team. I'd like them to win a game every now and again. And when you have 2 of them right in your hands, God, dog it, Tom.
That wasn't Lou Holtz. That was audio of Link Jarrett in the dugout. We actually had exclusive audio of what's going on internally with him in the bottom of the 10th yesterday.
We are an old dad. We're some game-ending walking Jessies. We will walk your ass with the game on the line. You don't worry about it. You get down to us, hang in there. Just take. Just take. Here come 4 balls. 4 sure at some point. You're getting 4 before you get the 3, and that's that. You're walking. And we'll walk the next guy, too, to make sure you get in scoring position. Don't worry. We're going to give you opportunities now. We want it to be ratcheted up. We want the people at home that are somehow still watching this baseball team, like me, to get really pissed in a lost season. It shouldn't happen that you can, but you can, I assure you. If you're not watching, go ahead and give us a watch. You'll get pissed. I promise you. It won't take much. Just keep watching. You're like, that's another walk. Let's go get somebody else to walk the next guy. That's my favorite part, is when we get rid of the guy that's doing the walking just to bring in another guy so he can walk somebody. We want everybody to get the opportunity to walk somebody.
Leave him in. He's due to throw a strike.
It's unreal. You're like, all right, Jerry, you got to come out of there. That's 2 walks in a row. I'm going to go get Steve. Steve's ready to throw some strikes. Oh, no, Steve sucks too. There's another walk. All right, you know what? I'm not going to wait around. I'm not waiting for Steve's next walk. I'm going to go get Kyle. Kyle, come in here and see if we can end the walk parade.
I like how Noel Dad says, don't even bring the bat.
Just stand there.
You could just have
boldly.
You could send Hulk Hogan out there, and he would just do the hulking up motions, pointing to the crowd.
While each ball is coming through.
Cupping the ear. He's cupping each ear.
He's dancing. He's just doing like this. His balls are flying all over the place.
Baseballs.
Of course. It's just cruel. That's pretty funny, P. Simpson. The Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Well, I don't get they bring the ink home.
If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher, and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Trucking accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Small businesses and everyday Floridians depend on a thriving digital economy. But some Florida politicians are pushing an anti-free market law that will crush our economy and hurt consumers. If passed, their reckless new law would prevent small businesses from reaching local customers online. And it could force Floridians to pay for online tools that are free today. SB 262 and HB 1547 are examples of big government at its worst. Don't let the politicians break the internet for Florida and destroy jobs. Let's protect our small businesses and consumers. Let's keep our digital economy strong, and let's keep the Sunshine State open for business. Contact your state senator and state representative today at flsenate.gov and myfloridahouse.gov. That's flsenate.gov and myfloridahouse.gov. Tell your lawmakers to reject SB 262 and HB 1547. Paid for by the Council for Citizens Against Government Waste.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problem that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Intriguing answer when asked about the battle for the number 2 quarterback spot after the spring game. And I've talked some about this before. I feel like that is open for further competition. And I don't know that I would have thought coming into the season or into the spring that that's what we would be talking about. Everybody knows that Jordan's Jordan. But after that, you're kind of like, well, see what happens.
Well, your opinion. We actually haven't touched on the quarterbacks at all outside of Jordan getting on that run towards the end of his day.
Mm-hmm.
Tate played really well. I thought Tate had a good day. ESPN didn't credit him with that touchdown, but I saw it. It happened when they put that little graphic up. I thought Duffy was some good, some bad, and Glenn looked nervous and then came on strong towards the end.
Glenn settled down late to salvage his day, but when he did settle down, he looked good. There was a spark there.
He just knows where to go.
Well, again, the throw to Morlock is a really good throw. And it's in the middle of the football field where freshmen are usually afraid to to dance.
One of my favorite things that he did actually was when he missed Hakeem back-to-back throws over the middle of the field. They were going left to right. And the second time he smacks his hands together, he's furious at himself.
Yeah.
I like that that's the initial reaction. It's not, you did something wrong, I'm confused. It's
back on him.
It's on me. I screwed it
But
up.
I also think it's important for freshman quarterbacks because you have no expectations for them. Like, he's not going to be the backup quarterback this year. You just want to see a glimpse, and you want to see things like that. You want to see competitive fire. You want to see athleticism. You want to see when he does get opportunities to learn from mistakes. Does he follow it up with a better performance? And as this thing wore on, when you start slow and you're a freshman and you feel the elevated sense of urgency because there are people there and this is more of a game-like atmosphere and all those things, it can go south in a hurry because things speed up on you in your head. But that didn't happen to him. He slowed it down and made plays. That's important, and I think it bodes very, very well. I continue to be impressed by the maturity for a kid his age and where we're at with him. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com, joins us as he's wont to do on a Monday, and that's a good thing. Hello, Ira. How are you, brother?
I'm great, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing well, man. We were just talking about quarterbacks because we feel like we've analyzed everything else from the uniforms to the backup right guard to everybody else. But I guess overall, big impression. What'd you like? What didn't you like about what you saw in the spring showcase?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I mean, I caught a little bit of what you guys were saying earlier in the first hour that, because we're out there practice so much, and that's why I wasn't too upset about missing scrimmages, is it's pretty much what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is the team we've seen. So I don't think there was a ton. I thought a couple of things stood out just from a, big picture standpoint. Like once you step back and see the forest for the trees, the fact that you had 3 full offensive lines, like they had a first team, a second team, and a third team offensive line. And there's a couple other guys on scholarship that weren't in those 3 teams. And Robert Scott was not available. So that just kind of hits you in the head. Like, when we're watching practice, you don't always think about that, but I think that's a big deal. And we'll see if all of those guys stay at Florida State. We'll have to see, but they have a lot of offensive linemen. And then, again, just, and I know you guys have talked about it and everybody's talked about it, but I do think that was a really nice day for Kentron Portier because I thought those two catches to me, the touchdown where he runs underneath the pass from Jordan Travis, Jordan laid it out there. I mean, it wasn't just dropping in his breadbasket. He had to go get it. And then also the catch on the sideline where he has to go up. That catch, when you go back and watch it, I almost tweeted the picture of the still frame from the video, but it's just so blurry because it's ACC network quality video. But Kentron, he leaps, goes up high, and then goes full extension to tip the ball basically back to himself. Like he doesn't just one hand and grab it. Like he has to kind of, it's so far out, he just touches it and kind of flips it back to himself, hauls it in for that catch. Those are the plays that I really wanted to see. Like, a lot of the catches he's made during his time at Florida State, I felt like more a product of the offense and just completing the catch. Like maybe Jordan fits it in between a couple guys and he just catches it in his breadbasket. But he went and got those 2 balls, and that's a big deal, man, especially when you have Johnny Wilson on the other side.
Yeah, and it really was the question we were all asking heading into the spring game. Was somebody going to emerge as the number 2 or a possible candidate even for the number 2 if they didn't solidify it on this day? Do you feel like Kentron Portier did that?
I think he did, man. And again, I still think they need somebody to show the blazing speed. You see Ty Douglas or they have a couple other guys that I think could be those guys as well. But yeah, no, I think he is. And to the point where, and I thought Alex Atkins summed it up perfectly when we talked to him after the game. He said, look, when the quarterbacks look and they see you've got man coverage and they say, okay, this is it's time to eat now. Like that's a big deal. And that's how they feel with Kentron. And you can see it, not just in the scrimmage on Saturday, but I think we've seen it in practices.
Yeah, and I agree. You always want to feel like if they shade a safety over to Johnny's side, that somebody's got one-on-one opportunities, they're going to go make that play.
Right.
But they are lacking the explosiveness that some of the elite programs that compete for titles do have. And that will be fascinating to see. Now, they probably have more weapons than a lot of those teams have, though, in that you have a tight end room now that you feel good about. You have a quarterback that can throw it from the pocket but really kill you with his legs as well. You have a deep offensive backfield. Obviously, a day like this where C.J. Campbell is running really well reminds you that even though he may be 3, 4, or 5 on the depth chart there, he's a good player. And they have that, but they do lack the guy that changes the scoreboard if you miss a tackle. And that's the one thing you wonder, like, is there anybody out there? I don't know. It would have to be a no-brainer.
Well, I know you're rooting for your boy from Lakewood, Deuce Spann.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I like, he also didn't really get credit. We didn't mention it in anything we wrote. But on that Toafili run, Deuce Spann was out there blocking too, along with Portier. And, he's a guy, man, if they could get him, we've seen the development from Kentron Portier over these last 4 years now. Deuce Spann, people forget, like, we feel like he's been around for a while. He's only been here just over a year. He's a guy. I mean, he is the guy in terms of speed, length, and size. If that light comes on for him, he could be that difference guy.
The other part of that is we saw him again. It's going to be fascinating. One of these times we'll do this as a Warchant staff, and we'll all put it to the test. But they'll use Toafili in that backfield, but they'll use the hell out of him as a receiver. It's funny. Now, he's a guy that can go the distance. We know that. So that's another candidate, I suppose, if they have him catching the ball. Let's flip sides. Let's go to the defensive side of the football. Who stood out to you? Who were you most excited to watch?
I mean, it's obviously Kalen DeLoach. You got to start there.
Yeah.
Those plays. I'd like to. I'm hoping to maybe see if we can sneak one of the defensive coaches aside and talk about DeLoach's assignment on that play and what his responsibility was. Because it's possible he's just reading Travis's eyes, but I almost wondered if it was a game there because Cypress was the guy who was covering the receiver on the play, but he drops way back to the deep third, almost like he's expecting DeLoach to come over. So I'm curious what that scheme was. But I thought DeLoach, it was really good to see him make those plays. And I also thought, again, one thing I like about this coaching staff is it's not all just platitudes. It's not all how great, this guy is. I mean, Mike Norvell does a lot of that. Everybody's remarkable. But the assistant coaches are pretty blunt. I thought last week when we talked to Ron Dugan, when he was talking about the receivers, particularly Hakeem Williams, he was pretty blunt about some of the things that Hakeem Williams needs to get better at, improving his body and then also improving his skills. But I thought Alex Atkins talking about, just talking about some of the things in that game, or excuse me, the defensive coach is talking about Kalen DeLoach and how, that needs to be every time we step on the field. And, they revealed to us something they didn't reveal 2 weeks ago is they were not happy with his scrimmage, the second scrimmage of the spring. They didn't feel like Kalen DeLoach played at that level. And I thought we saw in the last week or so, he really picked up his game, and then you saw it in the spring game. So I think that's, again, that's cool that he's playing at a higher level and the fact that they're pushing those guys for so much more.
They need DeLoach to be the guy that he was in the first half of last year, man. He looked so explosive, and I really thought he had taken a huge step forward. His instincts were good. He was better in coverage. He came up and tackled well. We remember some of these performances from him. If he can find that consistency, you'll feel a lot better about that room. Now, I still don't love the depth of that room, but I do think he's capable of being a really good linebacker in this league. They just haven't had anybody consistently do that. And I think both guys last year, Ira, frankly, were dinged.
Yeah, I think that's very likely the case. I know for sure it was the fact with Tatum Bethune, and it was probably the case with Kalen DeLoach as well. And then, we've already talked about the things they had going on up front where they had a hard time getting a free run. But I also like, I've been impressed with DeMarco Ward, the freshman linebacker. I think he's better than I expected as a 3-star prospect. An early enrollee, he showed some ability, and I think Omar Graham continues to get better, and then DJ Lundy continues to get better, and Brendan Gant wasn't out there, Tatum Bethune wasn't out there. So I know linebackers in your crosshairs.
It is.
I feel a little bit better about it than I think you do.
How do you feel about the defensive ends, excluding the 2 stars or the starters?
Yeah, I mean, I still think you'd like to see more out of Gilbert Edmond. And I don't know that I'm super confident Byron Turner is being a guy, to play 40 snaps. I mean, I think he's a guy that you'd like to see maybe play 15 or 20 snaps. So that position, it wouldn't surprise me to see them try to add somebody to that group because again, I think this could be an elite defense. But you don't want Jared Verse or Patrick Payton to feel like they've got to be on the field for 60 snaps. Because think back to 2 years ago when they did that with Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas. I mean, we all loved Jermaine Johnson. but he wasn't going all out on all 60 or 70 of those.
Yeah, he couldn't. And that's exactly right, Ira. And I do think that is an area of weakness for this team. I think we can just say it. They've got two good starters there, and I think they're weak after that. We need Gilbert Edmond to get better in the fall. I don't believe Byron Turner is going to make a difference for you this year. So that is
one other, Mike Norvell called him the X factor, but one other guy to consider, and we'll see. We just have to see. He's coming back from an ACL. Is Jaden Jones, the defensive end they got out of junior college. We haven't seen him play yet. He's still coming back from an ACL, but man, I'll tell you what, if you stand next to him on the practice field, he looks like, he's built like a Kendo or one of those guys. Now we'll see. Hopefully he plays. He's a little more productive than that, but he's got that frame. He's got more of an NFL frame, I think. He might have more of an NFL frame than even Verse does, at least potentially down the road.
Feel any better about the safeties?
Not particularly. But again, I still think I still have confidence in Shaheem. I thought Akeem looked fine. I think he's what you expect him to be as a fifth-year senior. I still want to see a little bit more from Shaheem, but I think Duke Cooper might be better than I thought he was going to be at safety. I think he's found a much better home at safety than he does at corner.
Fall will be fun because they still have a few unanswered questions, and there's still plenty of room for the competition to play itself out at several spots, even for backup roles. And that includes, some high-profile places where you'll be like, okay, well, I wonder, look, it stands to reason that Tate Rodemaker will be your backup, but if he's not sharp in the fall, who knows? You could see somebody else emerge there as well, and that's interesting. One thing we do know, Jordan Travis has got to be healthy for this team to be great. That's one thing I'll say. Jordan Travis, and he can be, and when he is, he's great. So let's hope that stays that he stays the course there without having any problems, because I don't love us without him on the field. Brother, appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Talk to you.
Yeah, take care. Ira and I are scheduled to do the Monday smash, but I think it's going to be a Tuesday smash because of, we got some time things here. They got practice tonight.
Yeah, they've been doing Tuesday, Thursday since the first week of camp, so we're going to focus on that tonight. Got the defensive assistants available after the non-coordinator, meaning everybody but Adam Fuller is going to be talking to the media. They did that with offense late last week.
Yeah.
Then we're going to put a bow on it, and then there might be some recruiting stuff later today. We shall see. But it's going to be a busy afternoon and evening, as it is without a live show. So we're going to focus on that first. It may be, too, that tomorrow is a recruiting chat rather than the smash, depending upon what the news cycle does the next 24 hours.
Well, yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about the staff is that we're sizable and we have all the bases covered, and that's fine. I mean, I'm just noting for people who are getting ready to tune in, hey, the schedule's getting juggled a little bit because the news changes and what's happening changes and what their availability is, and all these things change, and we have to be fluid. Luckily, we do.
I can tell you that we learned from December and how crazy that was, too. We do have a portal plan as well. Like, they're just kind of like, be on alert for these times. It's almost like an on-call schedule of different career paths. But given that the window's open for 2 weeks, we're all kind of on alert at different times, just in case a name enters the portal and we have to have a discussion about it.
You and I will be alert on the beach later in the week if we have to do a video.
We should try and make sure that we can light it so that you can see both us and then the water in the background.
So if we do have to do a reaction video, meaning Florida State goes out and gets a 5-star linebacker and a 5-star defensive end, and we clearly got to react to that, right? Then we'll just do it from the beach. The camera will be set up. We'll have our roadcasters out. We'll be on the beach. We can wrap them. It'll be all right.
Saran wrap the roadcaster.
Saran wrap the roadcasters. You got the sound of waves in the background. Guys, this is us reporting at the end of spring here from the beach before we go to the show tonight.
We could do it from the golf cart. That would be fun. Driving around the main drag.
Yeah, Mai Tai in hand, P. Simpson. I think you're right. We could do that.
Do you like Mai Tais?
I'm not sure I've had a Mai Tai.
I don't know that I have either. Might have to change that.
Is the Mai Tai in the Rum Runner family?
As long as it doesn't have coconut.
I like coconut.
I don't like the coconut flavored stuff.
I do. I would drink it.
You can take the.
I'll drink
you go to the coconut.
I don't even know what's in a Mai Tai. I've never ordered a Mai Tai. I like a Rum Runner every now and again. It's done right. I like a tequila sunrise every now and again.
You do?
Oh, I do. I like tequila.
You like tequila? This is true.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Florida State University is now offering free Narcan and training sessions to its campus, making FSU the second university in Florida to be considered a Narcan distribution site. Florida A&M
What's up,
University.
guys? Our next partner that you're going to hear from is Athletic Greens. You've heard me talk about Athletic Greens in the past. Happy to talk about them again. I take Athletic Greens every day, and I gave them a try because certainly I wanted more energy, sustained energy. I wanted to support my immune system. I don't like taking pills and vitamins per se, and I wanted something that tasted good too. And the first time I tried it, I was very surprised. It had an appreciable effect on my energy levels, and also over time, you'll note that it helps your skin, your hair, your nails. I don't have a lot of hair, but if I did, I bet I could feel that. I bet I could tell. It's a comprehensive health habit, and it is a powerful one at that. AG1 is great for recovery. That's Athletic Greens. And I take mine basically when I wake up every morning. I don't have to worry about it because you get all the nutrients that you want. It's the best way to ensure that you're going to get all of your vitamins. It's a carbon neutral business, by the way, if that's important to you. It is to a lot of people, and that's good to know as well. I would also note that it is a comprehensive solution to what you need from a supplement routine. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs right now with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/JCS. Helps me out, guys, if you use that. Not financially, but it lets them know that you heard this ad on my show. And I do take it, and I am vouching for them because I enjoy their product. It's athleticgreens.com/JCS. Check it out. I think you'll note the difference in your life with a simple drink each and every morning to start your day. athleticgreens.com/JCS.
Where's burning?
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse?
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Pulled it up on the Google machine.
Oh, rum, orange, and lime juice. Delightful.
Yeah.
All right. Have to give it a go. I guess by Wednesday. When do you think, if we're going to speculate here at the end of the show, news to the good or bad regarding the portal, you think we get anything this week?
Well, just on a personal level, I will be interested to see as the players walk into practice today, is everybody accounted for? I don't know if we can even discuss that. That might be a dicey deal, but that's number one. Coach Norvell talked about how they have exit interviews with the position coaches, but then they're also head coach to player exit interviews later in the week. Does everybody make it to that point? What I find fascinating, and I think you would agree with this, is the more that we learn about the behind the scenes in the NIL across the Southeast, whether you talk to your recruiting analysts like Michael or somebody else at On3, collectives, just people in the community that cover the team.
You get a snapshot, sure.
It is a very Dear Diary business. It is ridiculous. like the back and the forth.
How could it not be though?
But if you did a show that was based solely on rumors with NIL, every segment would be different about like the same player. It just goes back and forth, and it's much ado about nothing most of the time,
except for when it's not,
except
and then
for
you get
when it's not. Yeah. But what would you say it is? Maybe 1 out of every 10 rumors you hear about actually come to be. 1 out of 15.
Well, but I would argue that that's because we've had a strong collective taking care of business. Now, I'm not paid by them, and yes, we've had a working relationship with them, but the evidence is the evidence. So this is an objective view of what I'm seeing. When there have been things that come up, and without getting into details, they have people who are there to vet that and figure out what is needed, if anything. Okay, and that's important, and not everything leads to a renegotiation or a new negotiation or a negotiation at all.
Right.
But you do have to hear the grievances, whatever they are, the airing of the grievances of that kid. And you have to educate that person on what's possible and what's not possible. And that's where you hope that your collective is buttoned up and can do that, have people in positions to do that. Because I guarantee you, agents or runners or people who represent other programs trying to make money off these kids are always going to float unreasonable things to these kids and say, hey, well, I know Florida State is paying you $100,000, but they'll pay you $600,000 at Ole Miss, when they're not going to pay you $600,000 at Ole Miss. You're just saying that to get the kid to enter his name, because then you've won. You've already won. Ole Miss will give you the kickback that you wanted to get if you get that kid out there, and now he's got nowhere else to go. And now you've been, you know what I mean? So like, it's going to be drama filled until there is some sort of regulation, some sort of unilateral agreement across the board about how this is handled in all the conferences amongst all the teams.
Like, for example, I enjoy talking to my buddies I went to college with about all these things that happen behind the scenes. I like to wait until the issue couldn't be an issue anymore.
Right. Right.
You don't do it live as it's happening. But December, after the season's over, oh, buddy, so get this in week 4.
We were worried that this was going to happen. Right. Yeah.
The backstory stuff. Buddy, I couldn't even begin. It would take me 2 days. If I did something in August when camp starts and the kids are clearly going to be here,
and
I said, let me catch you up on everything that happened in the spring, it would take a day. It's just, there's so much nonsense. There's so much nonsense.
What daytime television is based on, whether it be, a soap opera, like a real soap opera that lasted for years and years and years, or what they do on ESPN now, where the constant rumors of free agency and the draft and everything else, it's just speculation, arguing about what could or could not be as if it is. We're just yelling at each other, People gobble that up, but it is real. Now, it's come to college football above and beyond projecting what you think a team is going to be. Now it's like, are they even going to have that player? Heard a rumor the other day, Southern Cal wants him.
Yet what's clear is that it is the Wild West. That's, that hasn't changed. It hasn't been buttoned up or regulated since then, in terms of schools will reach out to players who aren't in the portal left and right. That's just a thing that happens. Nobody is honoring the rules, because they'll reach out through an intermediary, like you're talking about.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just freaking stop. We have a news cycle, especially in December, where you feel like you're never going to be able to put your head on the pillow because something could happen. I can imagine what it's like to be either the player themselves, a position coach, a head coach, a coordinator, a collective.
That's where the money comes in.
This is why they pay you the big bucks.
Go explore Power Mill Sports, state-of-the-art, locally owned and operated facility. If you've got a young baseball player or a softball player, they do have youth camps over the summer coming up. Baseball training program equips athletes of all ages, skill levels, give them specific skills that they're going to need. Same goes for softball. We appreciate Power Mill sponsoring Probables, which is coming up right now.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Angels lead the Red Sox 5-1. Shohei Ohtani on the hill for the Angels. He's 2-0 with an 0.86. Brian Bello goes for the Red Sox. Rays, Reds, Jalen Beeks, Hunter Green, Giants, Marlins, Logan Webb, Jesus Luzardo. Rangers, Royals, Jacob deGrom. I take it a beer. Jordan Lyles, D-backs, Cardinals, Merrill Kelly, Jack Flaherty, only Flaherty. Blue Jays, Astros, Kevin Gossman, Christian Javier. Pirates and Rockies tonight. Rich Hill, he sucks. He'll pitch for Pittsburgh tonight. Kyle Freeland doesn't suck. He'll pitch for the Rockies. I'm taking the Rockies. Cubs, A's, Hayden Wisniewski and Kyle Mueller. Braves, Padres, Max Fried, Ryan Weathers. Brewers, Mariners, Corbin Burns, Chris Flexen. Mets, Dodgers, David Peterson and Dustin May. Guardians, Tigers. You stay up late for that? 10 p.m.
When we're at the beach for the Giants series,
You will then.
Yeah, I'll stay up late.
Guardians, Tigers postponed. Phillies, White Sox postponed. And that's a look at those that shall reside on the book.
Our ass is in the jackpot now, okay?
Power Mill performance. The kiddos all the way through, the elite player, they got you covered. Youth camps all summer, softball and baseball. You're good to go. Go get a training session now. Good instructors there, instructors, I should say, at Power Mill. I know that for a fact. I'm trying to think. I feel better now that we've made it through camp with Nary. Got the chance to say Nary. Nary an injury. Really? I mean, think about that.
Come on, man.
They're not going to do anything today. Come on, man.
The
It's
turf
a
monster's going to get him today.
freaking walk through. They're not doing a damn thing. So we made it.
They're doing a head count. All right.
Is everybody here?
Everybody
Is
here.
Everybody here. Yeah. We made it, man. We made it. Now you just got to survive the fall without any fallout, anything weird. We'll be all set. Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Thanks to all of you. Be well, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.